They came from the cold, roaring like thunder across the sea. Longships carved with dragons, warriors who feared nothing, not God, not death, not kings, the Vikings. For centuries, their name was a whisper of terror across Europe. From the misty shores of England to the rich coasts of France, they burned cities, toppled kingdoms, and humiliated empires. They were the nightmare of the Christian world, fast, brutal, unstoppable. They believed the sea belonged to them. They believed no one could challenge them on water. But in the south, under the burning sun of the Mediterranean, they met something they never expected: a navy, a Muslim navy. And for the first time in their history, the Vikings didn't raid, they ran. The year is 859 AD. The Mediterranean Sea looks calm, but beneath its shimmering surface, history is about to collide. The Vikings, fresh from their conquests in the north, saw these southern waters as just another prize ripe for the taking. They had no idea they were sailing into a world far more organized and formidable than any they had faced before. Far to the south, in the heart of Al-Andalus Muslim Spain, a different kind of power was rising, one that didn't scream its strength, one that didn't boast, one that waited. And when the Vikings finally arrived, they sailed straight into a trap. The Vikings had never seen waters like this. The Mediterranean wasn't the wild, untamed North Sea they knew. It was controlled, patrolled, defended. Fortified ports stood like sentinels. A network of watchtowers guarded every horizon. Signal fires could light up entire coastlines within minutes, warning of any approaching threat. This wasn't the fractured, warring Europe they were used to plundering. The Muslim world, from North Africa to Spain, from Sicily to the Levant, had something incredibly rare for its time: organization. And at the heart of that organization was its navy. Muslim fleets ruled these waves. Their ships were a marvel of naval engineering, faster, wider, and designed for one purpose: combat. They weren't just transport vessels for raiders. They were floating fortresses. They carried fire-based weapons, devastating catapults that could splinter a longship from a distance, and decks packed with disciplined archers and marines. Most importantly, this navy had experience. They had fought the mighty Byzantines. They had battled pirates, crusaders, and rival empires. They knew the sea not as a highway for plunder, but as a strategic battlefield. When the Vikings crossed into their world, they were no longer predators. They were prey. In 859 AD, a massive Viking fleet, emboldened by their past successes, swept into the southern waters. They descended upon Morocco, raided the coasts of Spain, and burned cities like Algeciras to the ground. They felt invincible, just as they always had, but in the grand city of the capital of Al-Andalus, the Umayyad Emir Muhammad I received the news, and he didn't panic, he didn't flee, he prepared. Orders flew across the coasts. Shipyards, which had been in a state of decline, roared back to life, working day and night. New ships were built, old ones refitted and armed. Rowers were recruited from coastal towns, and archers trained relentlessly. The navy was not just rebuilt. It was expanded, sharpened, and turned into a weapon of precise destruction. This wasn't a panicked response, it was a declaration. The sea would not be surrendered. Confident and arrogant, the Viking fleet sailed up the Guadalquivir River, heading for the rich prize of Seville. They pushed deep inland, their longships gliding through the calm river water, completely unaware of the fate awaiting them. That was the moment they sealed their doom. Just as they approached their target, the trap sprung. Muslim ships, which had been hiding in wait, emerged from tributaries and sealed off the river mouth, blocking their only retreat. Suddenly, the wide river became a cage. Then came the fire. Specialized fire ships, laden with flammable materials, were sent drifting into the tightly packed Viking fleet. Chaos erupted. Flames leaped from one longship to the next. From the riverbanks, Muslim archers unleashed a storm of arrows that darkened the sky. The Vikings, caught completely by surprise, were trapped between fire and steel. Their ships, designed for open sea raiding, were clumsy and vulnerable in the confined river. Warriors who had faced down armies on land now drowned in the murky water, weighed down by their own armor. Their leaders were captured, paraded through the streets of, and executed. For the first time in generations, the Vikings were utterly defeated at sea. not by a storm, not by chance, but by superior strategy, technology, and a navy they didn't even know existed. The few survivors who managed to escape fled north. They were broken, silent. The story of their catastrophic defeat spread like wildfire through the Viking world. The message was clear: the south was off limits. They never returned to Al-Andalus in force again. They actively avoided Muslim waters, staying clear of North Africa and Spain. They remembered the fire, the arrows, the river that became their tomb. The legend of Viking invincibility had been shattered. A new legend was born among sailors, a cautionary tale whispered in northern halls. The southern seas are guarded, and yet how many of us have heard this story? We learn about Viking raids on England, their discovery of America, their sagas of gods and heroes. We learn about the golden age of Muslim empires, their contributions to science, art, and philosophy. But this crucial intersection, this moment where the unstoppable force met the immovable object, is often left in the footnotes of history. It's a story that breaks the myth. It shows us that power shifts, that the invincible can fall, and that history is never as simple as we're told. The Muslim navy of Al-Andalus wasn't just a fleet. It was proof that civilization doesn't only build beautiful cities and write profound poetry, it defends them. It adapts, it innovates, it fights back, and in the year 859, it won a victory so decisive it drew the map of power for a generation. So the next time you hear tales of the unstoppable Viking warriors, remember this: there was a day when they sailed south and met a power they couldn't comprehend. A day when fire answered steel, a day when the sea itself, their greatest ally, turned against them. History whispered a truth that still echoes today: no empire is eternal, no legend is untouchable, and even the fiercest storm can be broken by those who understand the tides. Thank you for watching. If you found this piece of forgotten history as fascinating as I did, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next journey into the past. See you next time.